Today I compiled 10 of my album reviews of the Rolling Stone 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list, from 500 to 491. Today I start at the bottom, number 500, with Arcade Fire's 2004 album, Funeral. It's richly orchestrated indie rock, every song loaded with luscious strings, twinkling pianos, and gentle percussion. However, this can lead to every song blending together, with none of them having a strong enough beat to really wake you up from your daydream. Lead vocalist Wim Butler's singing can be a little overwrought at times, but the album was warm and inviting enough to be enjoyable. 2.5 out of 5. Today I listened to album number 499, 1977's Ask Rufus by Rufus featuring Shaka Khan. We've moved to Funky Town for this album, which usually has a featuring vocalist, which is strange to mention because Khan had been the singer on the previous 4 Rufus albums. In any case, Ask Rufus is a dance funk album full of catchy bass lines and horn parts to keep you interested throughout. Khan is certainly a talented vocalist, though she has an unfortunate tendency towards distracting Mariah Carey-esque melismatic run. She does show a considerable vocal range though, moving from upbeat dance songs to more sedate pop ballads on a whim. All in all, Ask Rufus is a funky experience throughout, though it lacks any truly exciting songs. This makes recommending it to anyone but 70s funk fans difficult. 2.7 out of 5. Today I listened to album number 498, Suicide's 1977 self-titled album. This is the kind of album to make you question what even counts as music. The centerpiece of the album, the 10-minute song Frankie Teardrops, is a deeply unsettling listen about death, murder and hell, punctuated by the lead singer's reverberating screams and accompanied by an unending, suffocated synth drone. It's effective performance art. I can imagine very few occasions where I want to listen to it again. It doesn't mean the album is entirely crude meditations of murder though. It also features some genuinely enjoyable songs. The opening song Ghost Rider utilizes Suicide's moody, atmospheric synth punk to its utmost. Fortunately, Suicide is let down by its weak lyricism in many songs, where endlessly repeated phrases suggest an inability to tackle deeper themes. Nevertheless, I can't help but recommend this album. It's short, terrifying, and fascinating. 4 out of 5. Today I listened to album 497, the 1985 compilation album The Indestructible Beat of Soweto. It seems impossible for my review of this 80s South African music to not be shallow. My only previous acquaintance with music from this continent is a compilation of African-adjacent pop music that my parents owned. I lack the cultural context to understand the translated lyrics. I cannot assess whether these songs are good representations of Mpakanga music, or whether they are hollow facsimiles for an ignorant Western audience. But this album is not wholly inaccessible. The descendants of African slaves in the American South invented jazz, blues, rock and roll, funk and hip-hop. Echoes of these different styles can be heard throughout. Afrobeats, a wholly African genre, has also recently emerged on the world stage. In some ways, not understanding the language can be a sort of advantage. My favourite song was the closer, Nansa Ama'ali, an entirely a cappella song which you can enjoy in the same way as jazz scatting or shape note singing. Overall, this album is a lens into a world which I have rarely seen before but hope to visit again. 2.9 out of 5. Today I listened to album number 496, Shakira's 1998 album Donde Están los Ladrones. Before she became a global pop star, Shakira was basically the Spanish-speaking version of Alanis Morissette, a rock star with a distinctive voice. However, Alanis never wrote a song as danceable as the album opener Ciego Sordomuda. Versatility is the name of the game here, with Shakira moving effortlessly from the aforementioned dance pop opener to dull dirges like Tu, to rockers like Octavo Dia and the title track, my personal favourites, and finishing with the Arabic-inspired Ojos Así. Donde Están los Ladrones stands at the midpoint between the alternative rock of the early to mid-90s and the Latin pop explosion of Enrique Iglesias and Ricky Martin of the turn of the millennium, and combines the best elements of both. 4 out of 5. Today I listened to album 495, 1994's 2 by Boyz II Men. In a time when grunge and gangster rap were dominant, the most popular group in pop music was looking back to the past, 60s Motown and 70s Philly soul. As a result, you can be guaranteed to hear soulful voices singing beautifully in harmony, with the occasional spoken word segment to activate nostalgia. The bass singer, Mike Bass, deserves particular attention for his warm, rich bass lines. The penchant for the past means that they prefer slow ballads, particularly the big hits towards the end of the album. But this doesn't mean that Boyz II Men is simply a retro throwback. In fact, they are highly influential. They inspired all of the boy bands of the turn of the millennium, from NSYNC to the Backstreet Boys, but you won't find any of their albums on this list. In short, this album is an enigma, an album from a retro-facing boy band which was nevertheless deeply influential and acclaimed enough to make it onto this list. 3.1 out of 5. Today I listened to album 494, 1964's Presenting the Fabulous Ronettes by the Ronettes, featuring Veronica. Yesterday we had the boys, and now we have the girls. Today we have the only album by the girl group The Ronettes. It is very much a pre-Rubber Soul album, a collection of singles interspersed with covers and songs not quite good enough to be singles. There are still some fantastic songs on here, from the triumphant Walking in the Rain to the jubilant Baby I Love You, and of course the impeccable Be My Baby. Be My Baby is one of the best examples of Ronnie's future husband and convicted murderer, Phil Spector's famous wall of sound production technique. By layering similar instruments on top of each other, Spector could create a deep, rich sound which blows away the listener by its sheer intensity. It took the skills of legendary backing band The Wrecking Crew to bring the wall of sound to life on Be My Baby, and Ronnie can't get enough credit for our soulful but alluring singing throughout. Be My Baby is a perfect song, but there is too much chaff on here to be a perfect album. 4 out of 5. Today I listened to album 493, Marvin Gaye's 1978 album Here My Dear. Never marry a musician, and if you do, don't make the mistake of divorcing him in a strange settlement where the royalties of his next album go to you, because then your ex might just destroy you in one of the most acclaimed albums of all time. But that's the mistake Anna Gordy made, which led to Marvin Gaye's 15th album. Because of the strange conditions in which it was made, you might expect Gaye to phone this one in. Instead, he bared his soul for the world to see, writing intricately detailed songs about his failed marriage. At times it can be uncomfortable, a voyeuristic look at a bitter ex. He denounces anger on track 4, but cannot stop it seeping in on the opener. At other times he can be downright romantic. On A Funky Space Reincarnation, he imagines a sci-fi future where he can happily get it on with his ex. On Falling in Love Again, he croons about his new love. On every song, Gaye's voice soulfully twists and turns to its whole range. The saxophone and trumpet accompaniments are the perfect backdrop to his ruminations. 5 out of 5. Today I listened to album 492, Bonnie Raitt's 1989 album Nick of Time. Bonnie Raitt waited 18 years for her breakthrough, which means that her career was the age of a legal adult by the time she hit it big. Perhaps this explains why this record is so at home in adult contemporary. Often maligned descendant of easy listening and home to such musical luminaries as Lionel Richie and Barry Manilow. Raitt surely has a gorgeous voice, rough and warm like a hastily constructed campfire, but she rarely raises your pulse on this album of sleepy country ballads and songs where she explains that she's no longer a young woman and as such desires a man of a similar age and disposition. The only time where this album briefly aroused my excitement was the intro to Real Man, which is not dissimilar to December 1963. Only Raitt's singing and the competent orchestrations say this album from being a complete musical write-off. 2 out of 5. Join me soon for the next album review. Wow, Rolling Stone really loves Harry Styles. At least for the 2023 update they managed to resist adding an album with currently charting singles. Today I listened to album 491, Harry Styles' 2022 album Harry's House. Styles has always leaned into being critic bait. He dresses like David Bowie and names his album after Joni Mitchell's song. And the potential for a boy band member to become a serious artiste is catnip to music fans and publications alike. Actually, I lied earlier. This record is actually named after a 70s Japanese city pop album named Hosono House. That's probably why this record sounds less like singer-songwriter folk, more like new wave with light disco and funk influences. But I guess it's a decent approximation of city pop. Highlights of the album include the So Bad It's Good aesthetically incoherent music for sushi restaurants, the late era Strokes pastiche As It Was, and Little Freak with its viscous vocal effects. I don't have much to say about the rest of the album. I like the guitars in Daylight, but I thought Matilda was too boring for words. But I'm still waiting for a Styles album that lives up to the hype. 2.9 out of 5. Join me soon for the next album review.